Hello students, welcome to GDC online classes. In this session, we are going to discuss regarding the pharmacokinetics and especially one of the pharmacokinetic parameter absorption. So what is pharmacokinetic? So pharmacokinetics nothing but how body affecting the drug, how body showing its effect on drug regarding how body affecting the absorption of a drug, how body affecting the distribution of a drug, how body affecting the metabolism of a drug, how body affecting the elimination of a drug. So how our body showing its effect on the drug regarding its absorption, regarding its distribution, regarding its metabolism, as well as regarding its elimination. Okay. So regarding in detail going into forward, first we will start with the introduction regarding the pharmacokinetics. So what is simply introduction regarding the pharmacokinetics? Wait a moment. Okay. So as you know already, pharmacodynamics means how a drug showing its effect on body, and pharmacokinetics means how a body showing its effect on drug. Okay. So pharmacodynamics means what drug does to the body, and pharmacodynamics means what drug does to the body, how a drug showing its effect on the body. Pharmacokinetics means how body affecting the drug. So what body does to the drug, what drug does to the body, pharmacodynamics. What body does to the drug is pharmacokinetics. So going into details, pharmacokinetics is derived from two words, that is pharmakon meaning drug, kinesis means movement of the drug. So like how drug is absorbing, for example absorption, movement of drug from site of administration to the systemic circulation. So from here route of administration or site of administration to moving to the blade, so that is a movement. Absorption. Distribution, from the blade it have to reach to the target site, that is distribution, and after that completion of action it should move to the liver for metabolism, inactivation, that is also movement, and after that inactivation it should reach the kidney for elimination. So like this absorption, distribution, metabolism, elimination, all are the movements. Means drug is moving from one side to the another side for its further actions. Pharmacokinetics is the quantitative study of drug movement in, through and out of the body. So movement of drug in the body, movement of throughout the body fluids, as well as movement of drug out of the body through the urine. Simply it is what the body does to the drug. So this is all about ADME, that is absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion. Okay. So simply you can see here drug ingestion, after drug ingestion absorption into the systemic circulation blood, and after that distribution to the various body parts for showing its action. Next metabolism, metabolized or broken down, inactivation. Next excretion, elimination or excreted in urine or through the fecal matter. Okay, so this is simply introduction regarding the pharmacokinetics. Next going into further, so let's see. So here first we are discussing regarding the absorption, that is absorption is the transfer of drug from its site of administration to the bloodstream, nothing but systemic circulation. Most of drugs are absorbed by way of passive transport. So here regarding the anatomy, one your B from anatomy also you studied what are the different transport mechanisms for the cellular, different cellular transport mechanism. Means one substance travel from one cell to another cell, there should be some transport mechanisms, that is the anatomy and physiology. In the pharmacology we will study as a drug absorption, how drug transporting from one cell to another cell and also one compartment to the other compartment. So here there are many transport mechanisms are there for drug absorption, but 90% of drugs are undergoes the passive diffusion, nothing but passive transport. Intravenous administration has no absorption, means you are taking drug as a solution form and you are taking directly drug into the vein, intravenous, direct into the blood, then there is a no need of absorption. Next, fraction of administered dose and rate of absorption are important. So fraction of dose, what, how much you are giving, as well as rate of absorption is very very important. So there are different parameters which are affecting the drug absorption. So let's see. First one is drug properties. Lipid solubility. So most of our molecules should be lipophilic in nature because our body is made by the cells. All cells are lipid bilayers. And molecular weight. So mostly the low molecular weight drugs are having good absorption, and as well as polarity. Drug molecule with polar nature, drug molecule with cationic nature having the poor absorption. So these are the parameters so affecting the drug absorption. So blood flow to the absorption site. So blood flow to the absorption site is directly proportional, and total surface area available for the absorption. So surface area is also directly proportional to the absorption. Contact time at the absorption surface. So how much time the drug is at the absorption site, that is also directly proportional. So these are the different parameters which affecting the drug absorption. So like as I mentioned earlier itself, there are different transport mechanisms for drug absorption. So first here it is a non-mediated transport like passive diffusion as well as osmosis, means there is no requirement of mediator, carrier. Mediated transport, here there is a requirement of mediator, nothing but carrier molecule. So that is facilitated diffusion, active transport. Active transport is again two types, co-transport as well as a counter transport. Next, vesicle mediated transport. Vesicle mediated transport is again two types, exocytosis, endocytosis. Endocytosis again two types, pinocytosis also known as cell drinking, phagocytosis also known as cell eating. Vesicle mediated, here drug molecular substance transport in the form of vesicle from one side of the membrane to another side of the membrane. So these are the nothing but this is a simple classification regarding flowchart, the transport mechanisms and their subdivisions. So first we will go with the drug absorption or transport mechanisms. So how a drug is absorbing or transporting in the body with help of different transport mechanisms. Absorption is process by which entry of a drug into systemic circulation from route of administration through the biological membrane. What is absorption? Absorption is a process by which entry of a drug into systemic circulation from the route of administration through the biological membrane. So from the side, for example, I am taking drug through oral route. From the oral route to it have to reach the systemic circulation through the biological membranes. It may be GIT, it may be some other membranes. Okay. Next. So passive diffusion. So the commonly using drug transportation in the body by the substances or drugs is by passive diffusion. It is a most important mechanism for the many drugs. Around 90% of drugs are undergoing transport as a absorption using this passive diffusion. So majority of drugs diffuses across the membrane in the direction of concentration gradient. So what is nothing but this passive diffusion follows Fick's first law. What is Fick's first law? Movement of drug from high concentration to low concentration until reaching the equilibrium. That is, rate of diffusion is directly proportional to concentration gradient across the membrane. So this is very very important. Passive diffusion follows the Fick's first law. What is Fick's first law? Movement of substance from lower to higher concentration until reaching the equilibrium. High concentration to low concentration until reaching the equilibrium. So what are the different factors affecting this passive diffusion? like size of molecule. Size of molecule will always matter, especially large molecular substances are not having good absorption through the oral route. And lipid solubility as well as polarity. The drug molecule is lipid soluble, having good absorption. Polar molecules are having poor absorption. And degree of ionization. Unionized molecules are having excellent absorption, and ionized molecules are having poor absorption. The drug molecule should be unionized in nature. And even pH of environment, like a fluid of body, fluid in the cell, blood as well as urine, all these parameters affect the absorption. All these parameters affect the absorption. So this is simply a passive diffusion, from where the movement of substance from higher concentration to lower concentration until reaching the equilibrium, that follows the passive, nothing but that follows the Fick's first law. Okay, that follows the Fick's first law. Next, the drugs which are unionized, having low polarity, means lipophilic nature, and high lipid solubility, are easy to permeate the membrane. Drug molecule should be unionized in nature, nothing but non-ionic, and low polar nature, as well as lipophilic or lipid soluble. The drugs are having good absorption. They can easily pass from one membrane to the another membrane. Next, the drugs which are ionized, highly polar, low lipid solubility, difficult to permeate the membranes also. So drugs having low lipid solubility, nothing but high polarity. Drugs with ionic in nature, nothing but ionized nature, they having poor absorption regarding the drug absorption. Next, how pH affect the absorption. How pH affect the absorption. Most of drugs are weak acids or weak bases. So like most of our pharmaceutical drugs are lipophilic in nature. Most of our pharmaceutical drugs are lipophilic in nature. Like here also, most of our pharmaceutical drugs are weak acids or weak bases. If they are strong acids or strong bases, there is a chance of ionization. So ionized molecules are having poor absorption. So the ionization of drugs may markedly reduces ability to permeate membranes. If the drug become ionized, that may affect the drug crossing capacity through the biological membranes. So if the drug become ionized, so when it passing through the membranes, biological membranes, so on the biological membrane the charge will be there. That charge will oppose the drug movement if it is ionized. If unionized, no problem, having good absorption. So the degree of ionization of drugs is determined by surrounding pH as well as pKa. Okay, so here acidic drugs absorbed are largely unionized in stomach and absorbed faster, while basic drugs are absorbed faster in the intestine. So acidic drugs absorbed are largely unionized in the stomach, having good absorption in the stomach regarding acidic drugs. And regarding basic drugs are having good absorption in the intestine. Next, acidic drugs are excreted faster in alkaline urine because ionization. So acidic drugs are excreted faster in the alkaline urine, the urine with basic nature. So acid base neutralize and the ionized molecule will eliminate fast, because ionized molecules are polar in nature. Polar molecules are easily eliminated through the urine. Next, basic drugs are excreted faster in the acidic urine, that is urinary acidifiers. If urine become acidic, that acid urine can easily eliminate the basic drugs, because acid base both ionized and ionized forms are easily eliminated through the urine. So for example, acid pH environment, the acidic drug is non-ionized, acid non-ionized, and basic drug is acid base ionized. And basic pH environment, the acidic drug is ionized because basic, and coming to the basic drug, non-ionized. Okay, coming to the non-ionized. So in presence of acidic pH environment, basic drugs become ionized, poor absorption. In presence of acidic environment, acidic drugs are unionized, good absorption. So acidic environment present in the stomach, And in presence of basic environment, acidic drugs are ionized because acid base ionized. And in case of basic environment, basic drugs are unionized, having good absorption. So intestine having the basic environment, stomach having the acid environment. So acidic drugs are become unionized in the acid environment, basic drugs are unionized in the basic environment, because same charges opposes, and opposite charges become ionized. Ionized molecules are having poor absorption. Next transport mechanism is filtration or bulk flow or convective transport. So passage of drugs through aqueous pores in the membrane or through the paracellular space. For example, we are studying that our cell layers, our cell membranes are lipid bilayer. On that lipid bilayer, number of protein channels, lipid channels, carbohydrate channels, aquaporins, so many things are there. So on that cell membrane, aquaporins are there. That aquaporins are used to transport water like substance or very small molecules from one cell to the another cell. So especially the examples like urea, water, sugar undergoes transport mechanism through this process. Lipid insoluble drugs can cross if molecular size is small. So especially the drugs which are lipid soluble in nature, like that drugs can easily transport from one cell membrane to another cell membrane by using this mechanism. Majority of intestinal mucosa and RBC have small pores and drugs cannot cross. So majority of intestinal mucosa and RBC have small pore size, so that drugs cannot easily cross. But capillaries have large paracellular space and most drugs can filter through this. But capillaries having large space, through that drug molecule can easily cross. And especially the driving force is osmotic gradient. Osmotic gradient is a driving force to carry out this filtration or bulk flow or convective transport. So here you can compare. So this is a general blood vessel, a endothelial cell, so which may having little bit spaces. So there is a chance of a drug can pass through here. But when coming to the blood-brain barrier, it is a tight junction formed by the food astrocytes, nothing but food formation like astrocytes. So maybe blood vessels like peripheral blood vessels, endothelium layer can permit the drug molecules, but brain is not easily permit because of it is a tight structure, that is blood-brain barrier formed by astrocytes, one of the neuroglia of central nervous system. Next is the carrier mediated transport. So here definitely there is a requirement of the carrier protein molecule. It involves specific membrane transport proteins known as drug transporters or carriers. These are the specific for the substrate. For example, insulin protein, insulin carrier will be there. Glucagon protein, glucagon carrier will be there. So like that specific substrates will be there, but for specific carrier proteins. Drug molecule bind to the transporter, translocated across the membrane and then released on other side of the membrane. So here for example you can see, so here a drug molecule bind with the transporter, and after binding to the transporter it translocate from one side of the membrane to another side of the membrane, and when it is released again the carrier molecule come here and this again will bind to the another substrate and the drug molecule. Like this the process will be happening. Okay, continuation. Specific and nothing but this carrier mediated transport is the specific, saturable and inhibitable depending on energy requirement, can be either facilitated or can be either active transport. Means This is a carrier mediated transport. It requires transporters, carrier molecule for the drug absorption. If carrier molecules are not sufficient, not available, this process will be saturable. It will stops, and it is energy dependent. If there is no sufficient energy also, this process will be not works. It will stop for temporarily. So again, this carrier mediated transport is facilitated transport as well as active transport. So facilitated transporters move substrate of a single class down concentration gradient, no energy dependent, similar to the entry of glucose into the muscle. Here facilitated transport is simply, it is not that much dependent on the energy. Generally it is known as a downhill process. Downhill process, it does not depend on the energy, and it also requires a carrier. It also requires a carriers, and the example is entry of glucose into the muscle is comes under the facilitated transport, which does not require that much energy, and it is generally a downhill process. Next, active transport. Next discussion regarding the active transport. So active transport is energy dependent. Active transport is the energy dependent. So next is active transport. So active transport is full opposite to the facilitated transport, where the active transport requires energy. So it is a uphill process. It is a uphill process against the energy, against the concentration gradient, against the concentration gradients. So let's see here regarding in detail. Okay, so yes, so here active transporter are involved can move solutes against a concentration gradient, and it is a energy dependent. It is energy dependent. So if energy is not there, this process will be saturable, stops for temporarily. So again here primary active transporters will be there, secondary active transporters will be there. So primary active transporters generate energy themselves by using ATP hydrolysis, and when coming to secondary transporters utilize energy stored in voltage and ion gradients generated by primary active transporter like a sodium potassium ATPase enzyme. So these secondary transporters utilize the energy stored in the voltage and ion gradients generated by the primary active transporter. Example like sodium potassium ATPase. And again the secondary transporters are symporter, also known as co-transporter, antiporter, also known as exchanger. So you can observe, so here it is a symport mechanism, both the substances are moving in the same direction, and you know this is the antiport, both the substances are moving in the opposite direction. That is simply symport as well as antiport. So symport is a co-transport, antiport is a exchanger in opposite direction. So for example, if this is a cell membrane, one substance moving like this and one substance moving like this opposite direction. But when coming to the symporter, same direction, same direction. Okay, so like these are the very basic essentials. Maybe you already studied through the anatomy also, but these basics are very essential to get into the further topics of pharmacology, further chapters of the pharmacology. So general pharmacology is very essential to get into the basics as well as concepts like pharmacodynamics both are very important. Next, so here some of the major drug transporters we will see. So here we are telling there is a drug transporters are there, carrier mediators are there. So for example, ATP binding cassette transporter ABC superfamily, which is a primary active transport. Especially one of the transporter is P-glycoprotein, that is encoded by multi-drug resistant one. So this P-glycoprotein present in intestinal mucosa, renal tubules, blood-brain barrier, and mediate only efflux of solute from the cytoplasm, and especially protects body from the detoxification. So this is a P-glycoprotein. You may be studied regarding chemotherapy in future. So this P-glycoprotein causes efflux of drugs. So this efflux of drugs may decrease the biological activity of drug, and this efflux of drug also helps in the detoxification. Next, solute carrier transporters. That is secondary active transport. So this is secondary active transport. So regarding primary active transport, ATP binding cassette transporters as well as glycoprotein. And regarding secondary active transport, organic anion transporting polypeptide, organic cation transporters. So these are expressed in liver, renal tubules, and especially metabolism as well as excretion of drugs. So these are the some major drug transporters affecting the absorption, distribution, metabolism as well as elimination. And next transport mechanism is the ion pair transport mechanism. So here, absorption of some highly ionized compounds. So as we are discussing that ionized molecules are having poor absorption. For that also, one of the absorption mechanism or transport mechanism is there, that is ion pair transport. Example like sulfonic acid and quaternary ammonium compounds from the ZIT follows this mechanism. And highly lipophilic drugs combine reversibly with such endogenous compounds as mucin in the gastrointestinal lumen, forming neutral ion pair complexes. And it is this neutral complex is penetrates the lipid membrane by the passive diffusion. So here simply one molecule pairing with another molecule especially helps in the transport of ionized molecules, polar molecules. Okay, so you can observe clearly here opposite charging molecules are forming a complex, and this complex is transporting through the biological membrane from one side of the membrane to the another side of the membrane. So once the complex formed, this complex is transporting from through the cell membrane with help of passive diffusion mechanism. So this is simply ion pair transport. So one ion, opposite charged ions forming a complex in reversible manner, and that complex is moving through the biological membrane from one side to the other side with help of passive diffusion. Especially it is suitable for the endogenous compounds present in the body, or ionized compounds taking from the outside of the body, taking into outside of the body. Next, ionic electrochemical diffusion. The ionized or unionized form of drugs decide the permeation through the biological membrane. So the ionization or unionization of drug molecule depend on its ionization as well as unionization. So that ionization, unionization decides the transport or absorption of a drug molecule. For example, so this is the GIT, this is the biological barrier, and this is the blood. Unionized molecules are easily absorbed, so having good absorption, and anionic drugs are having moderate or medium absorption, that is medium absorption. Cationic forms are having poor absorption, so means fully ionized. So cationic forms are fully ionized, they are polar in nature, having poor absorption. Examples like aminoglycoside antibiotic as well as neuromuscular blocker, especially peripherally acting neuromuscular blocker. So ionization, if drug molecule is ionized, poor absorption. Anionic form, medium absorption, and unionized form, poor absorption. Cationic forms are having poor absorption, and anionic medium, intermediate, and unionized molecules are having excellent absorption, because unionized molecule can easily cross the membranes because of there is no repellent on the biological membrane. For example, if any positive charge are ionized going, definitely it will repel by the charge. But unionized, no ionization, does not repel by any substance on the biological membrane or cell membrane, so easily cross the barriers. So simply cationic forms poor absorption, anionic form medium absorption, and unionized form good absorption. Next is a vesicle mediated. So here the drug molecular substance moving from one compartment, one membrane to another membrane with help of vesicle formation, that is vesicle mediated. Okay, and here two types are there. Two types of vesicle mediator are there: endocytosis as well as exocytosis. What is endocytosis? Transportation of macromolecules, large particles, polar substances into the cell from external environment. Into the cell from external environment. Endocytosis. So sending into the cells. Exocytosis, transportation of molecules or particles from the cell to the outside of the cell. Cell to the outside of the cell. Okay, sorry for inconvenience. And endocytosis involves in uptake of substance like nutrients into the cell. Exocytosis involves in elimination of waste as well as secretion of contents in Golgi from the cell. So simply endocytosis means movement of substance into the cell in the form of vesicle. Exocytosis, movement of substance from the cell to the outside of the cell in the form of vesicles. And endocytosis generally responsible for the uptaking of substance into the cell, any nutrients. And exocytosis eliminating the waste from the cell to the outside of the cell. Cell membrane pinches in creating a vesicle. Nothing matter, like cell membrane pinches like this and creates the vesicle and next here vesicle approaches cell membrane and merge with it, releasing the molecules. So generally what will happen? So like this it will be there, so like this it will be merged, so like this slowly it will enter into outside. So like this will be there. Okay, wait a moment, don't confuse. Okay. Yes, so in case of the I have to take sketch here. Okay, so in case of endocytosis, like this it will be follows, so from outside to the inside. In case of exocytosis, like this will be formed, so cell will be like this and from inside to the outside will goes. Next, so vesicle formed surrounding the foreign substance and waste is fused with the plasma membrane. Regarding endocytosis, internal vesicle like phagosomes are formed, and regarding exocytosis, secretory vesicles are formed. And when coming to the endocytosis, both phagocytosis and phagocytosis occurs in endocytosis. And when coming to exocytosis, occurs by constitutive and regulated secretory pathway. And endocytosis, vesicle fuses with the membrane bound organelles at the end of process. So vesicle fuse with the membrane bound organelle at the end of the process, and vesicle connects with the cell membrane at the end of the process. Example, cell taking nutrients into the cell and cell releasing the hormones. Exocytosis means releasing outside of the cell, endocytosis taking into the cell. So regarding the endocytosis, the formed vesicle fuse with the membrane bound organelle. In case of exocytosis, formed vesicle connect with the cell membrane at the end of the process. Next, what is phagocytosis as well as what is pinocytosis? So phagocytosis, engulfment of the solid particle, nothing but intaking. Pinocytosis, engulfment of the fluid and solute. Phagocytosis is the cell eating, pinocytosis is the cell drinking. And phagocytosis also known as cell eating, pinocytosis also known as cell drinking. And phagocytosis mostly absorbed in immune cells, immune system. Pinocytosis majorly absorbs in almost all cells of the body, not only immune cells. And phagocytosis used for defensive purpose, protecting our body from the foreign matter, foreign particle. Pinocytosis used for the uptake of the important material, used for uptake of the important material like hormones, like vitamins, like any other important substances. Example like engulfment of the bacteria, digestion of bacteria, killing of bacteria. Pinocytosis example, uptake of enzymes, hormones, vitamins. So here you can observe phagocytosis. So this is a solid particle, a foreign matter. So the vesicle is formed like this. So through this vesicle the bacteria fused into here and form a complex with the phagosome. That phagosome will digest or ingest that bacterium, nothing but foreign matter. Pinocytosis, cell drinking. The substance, liquid substance in the form of vesicles enter into the cell. Next, another one is the receptor mediated endocytosis. So here you can observe there is a no receptors here in case of pinocytosis, phagocytosis, but receptor mediated endocytosis, entry of substance into the cell by complexing the receptor molecule, so that is receptor mediated endocytosis. Okay, that is receptor mediated endocytosis. So simply that is endocytosis, exocytosis, and again phagocytosis as well as pinocytosis, and also receptor mediated endocytosis. So next is first pass metabolism. So we completed regarding the drug absorption mechanism, different transport mechanisms for the drug absorption. Next, a small basic thing is first pass metabolism. So what is first pass metabolism? I hope you already having knowledge. So wait a moment once. So what is first pass metabolism? So observe here, before the drug reaches the systemic circulation, the drug can be metabolized in the liver or intestine. So metabolized nothing but maybe inactivate. Maybe if you took 100% of drug, some quantity of drug may be inactivate, may be degrade in liver or intestine. As result, the concentration of drug in the systemic circulation will be reduced. So if the concentration is reduced, only few percent of drug reaches the systemic circulation. Okay, for example, you can see the diagram here. The swallowed drug passing through the digestive system as well as hepatic portal system, nothing but liver, and enter into the rest of the body. So during this process, this drug may be inactivated in the GIT tract, may be inactivated in the liver, hepatic portal system. So especially some of the drugs like propranolol as well as lidocaine having high first pass metabolism when they are taken by the oral route. Next, bioavailability. So what is bioavailability? After drug reaching the systemic circulation, blood, how much concentration of drug present in the blood is known as bioavailability. So let's discuss regarding the bioavailability also. Bioavailability is referred as rate and extent of absorption of a drug from dosage form as determined by its concentration time curve in blood or by its excretion in the urine. So the rate and extent of absorption of a drug determined by how much concentration present in the blood and how much concentration eliminated through the urine. So bioavailability is AUC, means area under curve oral by AUC, area under curve IV into 100. So IV nothing but in the blood. So the bioavailability is a measure of the fraction of administered dose of drug that reaches the systemic circulation in unchanged form. What is bioavailability? It is a measure of how much concentration of drug unchanged present in the blood. So bioavailability of a drug injected IV is 100%. So the drugs are which are taken by the intravenous route having 100% bioavailability, because here drug is directly taking into the blood. But if you are taking through the oral route, there is a chance of degradation or inactivation in the GIT liver. So there is a decreased concentration of drug in the blood. But in case of intravenous, 100% bioavailability. But it is frequently lower after oral injection. So through IV route 100% bioavailability, but through oral route the bioavailability may be decreases because drug may be incompletely absorbed, no proper absorption of drug. The absorbed drug may be undergo first pass metabolism in intestinal wall or liver or may be excreted in the bile. So there are two reasons why drug is nothing but why drug concentration is decreasing while through oral route. So when drug is taking through oral route, there is a chance of drug inactivation. Drug undergoes first pass metabolism. What is first pass metabolism? When drug is passing through the intestine liver, there is a chances of inactivation. So that decreases the concentration of drug reaching the blood. So there are two reasons. One is poor absorption, maybe not proper absorption, and one is undergoing the first pass metabolism. These two factors will affect the drug absorption as well as drug concentration in the systemic circulation. So this is simply about how simply what is pharmacokinetic. In this session we started what is pharmacokinetic, what is the introduction regarding the pharmacokinetic, and what are the different parameters of pharmacokinetics. In that absorption, distribution, metabolism, elimination, we discussed regarding the absorption. What is absorption? What are different transport mechanisms for drug absorption, and what are the factors affecting the drug absorption? And finally, a small glimpse on bioavailability as well as first pass metabolism concept. I hope everything is going well. You are getting the things. And in the next session, we will discuss regarding the distribution, drug distribution. That is also one of the pharmacokinetic parameter.